Okay, this is my attempt to show you how to tie a bowline. I'm using a current mantle rope, strong ropes, use rope access, climbing, all kinds of cool stuff like that. Alright, so let's just go over a couple of terms about a rope, that way we can understand when we put knots in the rope. This is the working end. We're going to put the knot in this side. We'll call this the working end. This is the standing end. This is what is called a bite when you grab the rope parallel beside each other like that. It's a bite. If you take this and make a loop, that would be a loop. This would also be a loop. The bite could be anywhere in the rope. Okay, there you go. So, all right, we're going to tie a bowline. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to try to make it simple. We'll go with the left hand first. So we're going to take a left hand. We're going to take the rope, the working end, we're going to create a J. A J. We're going to take left hand, we're going to cross the standing end with the working end. We're going to curl underneath and bring it back over to the left. That way we are still on the left. Standing in creates a loop. Working end comes out the loop. We're going to take the working end, go behind the standing end, back down into the loop. There's our bowline right there. All right, so same method. We're going to curl it to the right if it's our right hand. We're going to take the working end, cross over on top of the standing end. We're going to circle underneath and bring it back over to the right hand side, putting a loop in the standing end. Working goes behind the standing, back down the loop that was created. There is a bowline right there. Okay, what's a bowline used for? So let's say you have somebody working on a roof and they send down a rope and say, tie that thing onto the rope and send it up to them. So here's the thing. Speaker has a little loopy thing, bite on a strap. We take our rope, go into the strap, tie our bowline, boom, send that up to the guy on the roof. All right, so we're going to do another variation of the bowline. We're going to use it to tie off a little bit stronger. It's called a Yosemite finish. So we're going to take and make the tail a little bit longer, stretching it out like that. Now we want to look at where it exits the standing end from the loop. So it comes around and goes that way. So we want the tail to do the same thing. So it's coming around this way and going that way. So we're going to come around and then exit the same way. Follow through, basically. Your follow through in the direction of the loop and then back out the standing end. And this, let's see, we're going to dress it. It needs to be on that side to make it all pretty, I believe. Come on, get over there. Yeah, that makes it pretty. So there you go. That's a bowline with a Yosemite finish. It just makes it a stronger or a more secure knot as it goes in the air. It doesn't bounce out. That's the beauty of a Yosemite finish on a bowline. If you have it like this, just a bowline, and it's not a real heavy, and as it's going up and shaking, they can come out. That's why you tie the Yosemite finish. Part 2 on a bowline. Let's see, what else? Okay, let's say you were in a car and you hydroplaned off the road and you don't have a tow hitch or nothing to hook onto in your car. You have a current mantle rope and somebody to help. You could use a bowline for that. So let's say this is not an axle, but let's just call it an axle. Go around it. Here's if you went around it once and tied the bowline, but let's go around it one more time. And it's called like a friction hitch as well. It just kind of holds on. So tie your bowline, And there it is. And the thing about this bowline is it's easy to untie. So it can be weighted, heavily loaded, weighted, boom. When it comes to untie it, it just falls back apart. That's the beauty of the bowline. Extremely strong knot, easy to untie. So you do that. You know, a second ago when I showed the sending it up with the Yosemite finish, you wouldn't want to do the Yosemite on the towing because the Yosemite would make it a little more difficult to untie. So if you was towing a vehicle or pulling somebody else with a very heavy load, you would just tie the regular bowline. Make sure you cinch it down. These brand new ropes, they're so smooth, they just come apart, but you can still get it. If it looks anything like that, it'll work. So there you go, the bowline. Okay, let's look at the bowline. The bowline is a bite trapped by a loop. That's all a bowline is. It's a bite right there, trapped by a loop. So it's one of the strongest knots, if not the strongest, arguably the strongest. I've seen lots of tests where the bowline pretty much beat all the other knots out. So the bowline's a really good knot to know. It's easy to untie. Let's see, you see what it's kind of loosely done there. You can tighten it up a little bit. Sometimes you can. You can tighten it up, get it cinched up really tight, and it generally breaks really easy. You just see how it falls apart. It's a great little knot. All right, so let's look at it. So we tie it like we tied it, and you went around this way and went and see, now you have a different type of bowline. This bowline is the same as the other bowline, but the tail is on the outside. Some people argue that this isn't as good as the other one. From what I understand, it's just under extreme circumstances, the heaviest of heavy loads, this one might slip before the other one with the tail in the center. But I know that if a lot of guys use this in rescue, and they want the tail to the outside in the rescue purposes. I'd have to know a little bit more about it, but yes, it is done like that. Let's look at another way. If we just set it down here, do us a loop, we need to get this to go through the loop. So if you went on top, it's not really going through the loop because, see that? So you need to come under it, right? See that? Now it's more looped out to where to work and trap the loop, the bite trapped by a loop, the bowline. I don't know if that helps. If you took it out and went around this way and then into it, you would have it on the outside. Still a bowline, but it's on the outside. There's another way you can tie it. You take the standing, create a slipper knot in there. You stuff this guy in there. It kind of capsizes into a bowline. That's another way of doing it. I'll go over that in another video.